Saludos. I hope you're all feeling well and in high spirits. Today I want to talk about something positive again since I've been pushing that positivity is sells more than negativity. Here's a positive story. Adrian Rodriguez. Adrian Rodriguez is a young kid who just graduated from high school, I believe in San Diego. He came out of a Ralph's parking lot and found a purse full of money, just packed with money. And so he looked through it and found some identification and credit cards, and drove to the house on the license, and knocked on the door to give back the purse. The person who owned the purse wasn't home, and so he left it with a relative. When the person who owned the purse came home, they looked on their Ring camera and saw a young Latino, tattoos on his neck even, for those that judge books by their cover, returning the purse to her, packed with money. And this kid returned the purse. Nobody was watching him. He wasn't videotaping it. For those that feel like people only do good if they videotape it, he just happened to be recorded on the Ring camera. That's how they got him returning the video of him returning the purse. The lady who got the purse thought he deserved a reward. She did a GoFundMe for him, and I believe it's over 5,000. So here you have a young Latino, Mexican, Chicano kid finding a purse full of money. No one's watching. He could have kept it. He didn't need to say nothing. But he took it back and gave it to someone who, that might have been someone's life savings. The girl who owned the purse did look pretty buchona, but that's besides the point. What he did is a reflection on him. And, even her, I'm not judging or anything, but she did look out for him. He got a reward. So I think this was a really, really positive story about a young man from our culture doing the right thing. In the spirit of positivity, I would say that Europe, I'm not sure what country, but it was in the link to the article I read about Adrian, that they did a groundbreaking study and found that most people would return a wallet if they found it and they had money in it. And that the more money that was in the wallet, the more likely it was to be returned. So that's a study on society. Most people would return the money, and the more money's in there, the more likely it is to be returned, because the person assumes they probably have a greater need for that. That's a good thing. That's a positive energy in the world. Adrian exemplified it. And because this is my channel and I was asked to make videos a little bit longer, I'll relate my experience with this. As a kid, for some reason, I was really lucky about finding purses and money. And I remember finding a purse at Pick and Save. I think it was called Pick and Save. It was next to Kmart. And it had a couple $100 in there and IDs and whatnot. And we looked it up, and somehow we had the phone number to the person. So there was this big debate at my house. My mom was, learning about Jehovah, trying to be a good Christian. My dad, he ran the streets. He hang out with street people. He's at the corner drinking beers and bullshitting and just doing street paisa shit. And they got into an argument because my mom was telling me it's the right thing to do to give it back, that person could need it. And my dad's telling me, when you don't got no money, you're going to pray to Jehovah to give you money? You got it right here. It's been given to you already. You need to keep it. And so I did make a video where I said he's never told me to go steal from people. That wasn't true, because this is the exception. If I knew who it belonged to and I didn't return it, that's stealing. And so that was the time he did encourage me to steal. It wasn't to go take something from someone, but if I found it His theory was finders keepers, losers weepers. Um, and I always ended up returning it. I have another story where, I'm in my building at work and I go to the ATM and there's $200 sitting on top of the ATM. I'm like, oh shit. So I grabbed them. Then I withdrew the money I needed. And I make my way to the security desk and I tell them, hey, I found $200 on top of the ATM. If someone comes to you and says they lost their money, please send them to me and I'll give them back their $200. And so like a week passes, maybe 2 weeks. And one day I'm coming off the elevators and the security desk is right there. And I see our executive officer for the agency at the time at the desk. His name was Bob. And the security guard, Mikey, he was from Africa. He was hella cool. He says, oh, that's here right there. And he points to me. And out of conditioning and just life experience, my first reaction is like, fuck, what did I do? And why is he pointing me out? And then Bob turns around and I know right away what it is. So I walk up and Bob asked me, did you find $200? And I'm like, yeah, here, let me go get them. They're in my desk in an envelope. So I run upstairs, come back, give them to him. And this is the only thing I regretted about that whole thing. I believe at the time I was still an admin. And no, I don't think I was an admin no more. But I had just transitioned to a professional classification. And my range hadn't topped out yet. I was just starting. So for some reason, I didn't have money for lunch that day. And I was hungry. And so Bob pulls out a 20 and he hands it to me. And I'm like, man, I didn't save the money and give it to you hoping for a reward. And he goes, nah, take it. And I was like, fuck, I'm hungry. And this will buy me some a roast beef plate with 2 little mashed potatoes, some gravy. I'll get some horseradish and some hot sauce and mix it. And it's like sliced roast beef. They take the big thing and just zzz on this thing. Then you get a plate with steaming roast beef, 2 stacks of mashed potatoes with gravy. That's what I thought about when he pulled out the 20. I was like, shit. And it's funny because my little girl thinks I always think about food and relate things to food. And so anyways, I gave him his $200 back and he gave me 20, which was, I regret taking it. I shouldn't have took it. But this is the highest person in my agency. And now they know this motherfucker has integrity. This person's honest. I can count on this person. That's how, I don't know how he could see me otherwise. I do know how he could see me otherwise. I did get chased by the cops one time in front of my work, caught at the parking garage. And when they had me hemmed up at the entrance, because I thought if I got into the entrance and the gate closed, well, I can walk off, right? And Bob came up and he asked, is there anything you need? And mind you, this is the head of one of the biggest, most important environmental agencies in the world. And the cop tells him to get back. And he says, no, he works for me. And I need to know he's okay. And I tell him, my wife's waiting for me to pick her up. And he says, where's she at? I'll go pick her up. And I was eternally indebted to him for that. That was such a leader thing to do. When the cop had me, people I knew for years were walking by and they wouldn't make eye contact with me. It was crazy. I digress. But I was glad that I gave those $200 back. Bob had always been cool to me. He signed off on my promotion before that, which put me into a professional classification, and those were his $200, and so I'm glad he got them back. I'm glad that lady got them back when I was a kid and gave her purse, and I'm glad Adrian Rodriguez was such a beautiful example to young people everywhere for doing the right thing. Positivity. That's the Adrian Rodriguez story. Check it out. I'll post a link in the description. Way to go, Adrian. You made us look good, homie. Gracias. Everyone else, have a blessed day.